screw it there. It's on my shirt, but not on my collar. Yeah, I got socks on this time. I shaved this. That got annoying as hell. I don't know how the hell people freaking have such, you know, thick and long freaking mustache hair. I mean, it's just so freaking annoying. I like anything around my freaking lips. It's just aggravating as hell. Oh, I should take some ibuprofen. Alright. Last video, I forgot the phone again, and it just abruptly just went, sitting there talking, all of a sudden, beep, beep, beep. And that was the fucking camera saying, fuck you, it's over. But actually, the battery doesn't die, and the SD card doesn't fill up. Actually, I guess it can only record up to an hour and a half. Then you gotta fucking basically shut it off and hit record again. Because yesterday, when I shut it off, I put everything away. I went to put it in my pocket again, and I hit the record button. It started recording again. So I'm like, what the hell? For a little while, let's see if the battery light's on. No. Kind of figured it would. No, it doesn't light up. Alright, fine. When it shuts off again, I'm gonna hit the status button. You get the SD card light, and then you got the battery light. Green is good, yellow is halfway, red is almost dead or filled or empty. You know. But just to finish up the last video, Tino was bringing the car back. He pulled in. I forget what he said. I don't know if he said he was coming out or he was up or what. But basically, he, in such a panic, he freaking threw the car back in the garage. And in such a rush, he ripped out the key from the ignition. Just freaking yanked it out, which actually ended up being a blessing. You know, because he ended up, I remember that morning, I wonder what the hell is he still doing here. And ended up being a blessing because he got a whole new ignition, and the extra keys I have didn't work anymore. So I couldn't borrow his car anymore. Which was good because, you know, if I would have got caught with his car, it would have been a whole slew of problems. My mom's car, I probably would have just gotten in trouble just, you know, driving without a license. I really don't think my mom would have pressed charges and locked me up like that bad. I would totally. Now I've been putting gas in it. You know, she didn't call the cops on my brother when he did it, and he freaking left the damn thing with an empty tank of gas all the way up on the mountain. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that happened. That was the last time. Actually, that was one of the last times I ever hung out with him too, Tino. We requested on Facebook, but like a couple of years ago, and he either never responded or declined it. But I think I want to say, as far as these videos go, you know, what direction am I going to go in with them? You know, what's the purpose? basically this. I'm just gonna fucking sit here in front of the camera talking to whoever wants to watch these videos about my lifetime experiences. My life, the experiences, a story, whatever you want to call it, just everything. I'm just gonna try to just keep going forward. And just keep going and going and going until current events. Which, honestly, the past, let's see, yeah, the past 5 years, it's October, the past 5 years, this past August, has been when all hell has started. I mean, it just incomprehensible how so much freaking bad luck could fall on, well, me and my family, and just I'll get to that eventually. I don't want to be jumping around. I mean, I'm enjoying doing this, so I don't care. I mean, if nobody watches it, you know, I started this YouTube shit. I mean, well, first, I was just doing it for the hell of it with motorcycle shit, and I didn't know anything about ad revenue or all that shit. Now, I really started getting into it after I found out you could earn money on YouTube. Which was after I already had a family and everything else. That's why I started looking into it, started getting it set up. Honestly, it took me about a year until I actually got around to getting it all set up, like just the whole Google account and ad revenue shit, and just set a bank account link to it. Just actually, I didn't even finish it yet because oh, they're screaming. Why are they always such a pain in the ass for her? But I guess I never got it, or I never got, either they never sent it, or what was that? This past, wait, no, they sent it to the wrong house. So I'm not sure if it forwarded. I never received it. Whatever's in between me and them, I don't fucking know. The address confirmation PIN number. So I never confirmed my address, so you know, I basically can't get paid until I confirm my address, which I actually just did that yesterday. I had them send another one to this address because I moved last November. Oh, which over, I forget when I started with the advertising on there with the freaking stupid commercials and shit on your videos, basically, and I'd say at least a year, at least. I've only earned $26. Hey, that's a full tank of gas. How am I going to complain? Which actually, that full tank of gas, that would last me at least a month. Right. 02 Pontiac Grand Am with 243,000 miles on it. Original engine, doesn't leak oil, doesn't burn oil, but I only drive it from home to work, and luckily I only live 1 mile from work. That's why a full tank of gas lasts me at least a month. I burn more gas starting the car up and letting it warm up a bit than I do driving it to work. But yeah, I'm enjoying doing this. It's just like, I guess, a form of therapy. So, I mean, you usually do this when you go to a therapist if you need one. You know, if you got just too much shit going on, you need somebody to talk to and stuff like that. I mean, I'm enjoying this. I actually was looking forward to come up here and talking. Not to mention, it's just like refreshing a lot of childhood memories I forgot about, or just didn't even really think about anymore. You know, it's just like bringing all that back. And I mean, I'm just putting this on YouTube because, I mean, I don't really look at I don't really watch any vlogs or anything like that. And anytime I ever see any and watch any, it's always current events or somebody talking about like something very specific. Like, you know, say, you know, somebody got in trouble last week or last year, and they'll talk about that over the course of like one long ass video. I don't ever recall seeing anybody talking about everything, you know, from as much as they can from the start of their life to current. That's basically what I want to try and do. And man, that fan's getting cold in here. I'm gonna shut that off. Oh. I mean, I want to try and just put everything on here, everything I can remember from start to now. I'll stick with the topic of me getting in trouble, since that was most of the last video. You know, going to juvie and shit like that. You know, I put this blanket behind me because it wasn't cold in here, but I've had that fan on. It's getting cold in here. I don't need to get any more sick than I already am. But the last two times I got in trouble as a kid, as a juvenile, me and my buddy George, I was always hanging out with him. It was back around when PlayStation 1 first came out, or was out for less than a year. We'd always be hanging out at his house. I'd be skipping school or suspended, and we'd be up all night playing like Resident Evil and shit like that. That was fun. It was actually it was funny. He was working at a video rental store. I forget damn it, what the hell was that called? I don't think it was, no, it wasn't Hollywood Video. I forget what the hell it was called. But he would be renting, he didn't own a PS1, he was renting one from work. I think he needed like $100 deposit to rent it for like 3 days or something like that. And yeah, he used to fucking beat me up too, just like everybody else. But you know what? I got along with George a lot better than any other friends. Even if it was just for a few years. I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he freaking. I mean, he wasn't. He was a good friend more than he was a dick. So that made up for it. But yeah, we'd be playing Resident Evil 1 on PlayStation. No memory card. The furthest we got without a memory card was the first time you leave the mansion and you get to the garden house or whatever the hell it was called. I remember if we made it that far and we were just like, holy shit. That game, man, the first time playing, I was actually more entertained to watch him play than me playing. That was fun. That was a scary fucking game the first time. I don't know why they don't stick with that kind of shit. Games nowadays aren't scary at all. But yeah, what basically ruined our friendship. Fucking. He was. I think he was coming down to the school for something. He came to play. He came to town for something. He lived a few towns up, and I skipped school. I either got a late slip and left, or skipped school, or whatever. But that house on Shawnee by the police station, we had to move out and move to the other side of town with my grandmother because it was either that or her going to a nursing home. She was just getting too old. That was August. Yeah, we moved out in August of 1997. I think my mom ran out till the end of September. Whatever. We moved out in August or September, and she... The hell is that? Yeah, she ran out for an extra month. Yeah, she ran. I think I'm almost certain it was. She ran out for September, and I think it was October 3rd. Now I grew up in this house. I was born at that house. I was only 15. We skip school. We go in the house. I didn't have a key, so we climb in the side window, and that fucking bitch that lived next door seen us and called the cops. So we're just in there hanging out. We were actually up in the attic, kicking holes in the walls. I mean, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be there, and it pissed me off. There was one hole that got patched. Like, you go up, the attic was finished. I mean, it was a furnished attic. It wasn't, a bare roof or anything. It was just if it wasn't so high up in the house, it was a big freaking house. I mean, if it wasn't so high that you literally could have made it into an apartment, a studio apartment. It was that freaking big. I mean, the third floor was honestly bigger than the second floor in this half double. What? Come up the steps, and you're right there in the first middle room. That was a big room that was finished. To your you're facing a wall. To your right all the way down was the front room, but to your left was the unfinished back room that we used as storage. And if you went in that room and went all the way to the back, there was a little cubby hole to the right, to the side, like that was right above the stairs. Where if you were to look down into the room, like the cop did, the cops kicked in the cellar door and came up after us. And you look down, you open the door, and you're looking down the wall with the flashlight. You can't see that cubby hole. So that's where we were hiding at. But that hole that got repaired that I kicked in again was right there on the other side of the wall in the middle room. So he walks over there and shines the light into that hole and sees us. So if I never kicked that hole in, we probably wouldn't have got caught. I mean, we would have known the cops were there. We would have stayed there and waited them out, and then we would have, hopped out one window or the back door and took off up the woods. But we got caught. Pretty much arrested, handcuffed, freaking everything. I got charged with criminal trespass. No, like, I probably, well, no. The judge was, well, I don't know at the time, but he was charged with a whole bunch of corruption, like, what, 7 years ago, or 6-7 years ago. I'm not even gonna get in there, give out names or anything, but my parents knew enough. They might have been able to, get me out of it, because I didn't know I was trespassing. It was only it was 3 days after the end of the rent. It's like, I didn't know. How am I supposed to? I thought it was my house. I grew up there. I lived there my whole life. I didn't know technicalities like that. Hopefully I don't have anybody newsy next door listening. That's why I'm up here. I don't want an audience while I'm talking. If I'm not talking to somebody, I'm talking to the camera. If I'm not talking to somebody specific, I don't want them fucking watching me as I'm talking. But yeah, I got arrested and freaking booked and everything, and got put in a detention center again for another 2 weeks. Then I got sentenced to he used this freaking term on everybody. He said to me, "You're going to St. Michael's School for an indefinite period of time till you learn how to behave." Learn how to behave, he used that on everybody. Even the kids that didn't do anything really wrong. That he was putting away to make money for a private detention center. So I go to St. Mike's. It's an open detention facility, I guess you can call it. Back then it was a placement for juvenile criminals. I guess he's kicking the pipe. She has such a hard time with them kids. I don't know why. But there was no locks on the doors. It was, you could get up and run anytime you wanted to. And I had a blast there. I fucking loved it. I was there. I was there for 6 months residential. And then I was on day treatment for another 6 months, which is, I had to finish out the school year. And of course, I dealt with bullying when I got into day treatment too. Why? This time it was because they knew I behaved. I wouldn't do anything. I was done getting in trouble. I mean, that was when I learned my lesson. No more bullshit, you know, because I was never locked up long term more than 2 freaking weeks. Even when my mom locked me up for stealing, I was only in there for like a week or 2. But even though I had fun, that was it. I remember being there, freaking. They would pretty much check you every single morning you came. So you were bringing in contraband for any of the residential kids. Brock and Ted were the muscle on the school floor. The staff, basically, you wanted most of them. They're freaking two freaking, I wouldn't say meatheads, 2 just weightlifters. They were cool. I got along great with them, but we'd show up. They'd go checking everybody. I don't know how many times they said, "No, he's good. I don't know. We trust him." They never. I think they checked me maybe the first week I was on day treatment, and that was it. After that, they never checked me at all. Because, I mean, when I was there, I got in trouble once. There was this freaking little punk-ass kid that was half my size. And I swear these freaking wolves smell blood. I was told to behave. And you get more perks there when you behave. They had like gold level chips, so you get on certain levels every week for behaving and shit. And then I think it was like every Wednesday you go out, go to like Burger King or the movies or shooting pool, go to the arcade, stuff like that. Well, you know, you behaved, you get a lot more perks. And I wasn't there to have fun. I was having fun. I mean, I wasn't there for a good reason. So, just behave myself. That's what I'm supposed to do. It's not hard. And this kid knew that, and he just kept messing with me. He just kept messing with me and messing with me and messing with me. I remember one day in the freaking gym, I'm playing basketball. He runs up to me out of nowhere with the basketball in his hand, just goes, boom! Right square in the face. I go down on my knee, because I mean, it hit me literally right in the nose. Shaking off, and he ran away. I'm pretty sure it was that evening. And if it was, I swear I know it must have been the staff's idea to do it. But that evening, now, since I behaved, it was like a college dorm setup. It used to be damn, what the hell was it? An orphan's hope. But you had the main dorm, and then about 10 feet down the hall, you had 4 separate rooms for kids who behaved themselves. Just your own personal room with, you know, a bunk beds, 2. They put him in my room out there. He was in there an hour, if that. No staff around. I beat the shit out of him. I beat him up they take him back to the dorm instead of me. He removes him from the privileged spot, not me. I swear they fucking knew what they were doing. Then I got my level dropped. And that was just the intake dorm. You're there for like your first month, something like that. Then you go to a regular dorm. I get over there, and my level, I should have went, like you go, the level system is intake silver, like you jump up every week. Intake silver, then gold 1, all the way up to gold 9, and then gold 10 is platinum 1. And then platinum's it. Like, you just keep going up and up and up. I get over there, and I think I was on like gold 3. Or I should have been going on gold 3. Level came around, all of a sudden I went to gold 7. I didn't ask. I did not ask. I think I asked my caseworker, I don't know, sometime later. I don't know when, I forget. But I asked him what happened. And he basically ripped up the report of me getting into a fight. He told me straight up, he's like, I know you're a good kid. So I never, on paper, I never got in trouble my entire time there. And that was actually the only time I got in trouble. Which he deserved it because he wouldn't stop messing with me. He never bothered me after that either. I mean, the kid was half my size. He was like 3 years younger than me, and I was 16. He was like 13. It's like, would you... I mean, back then, I actually had a growth spurt. I went from freaking, like... I literally grew, I think, like freaking 3 or 4 inches in just that whole year. I'm 6'1", 6'2"-ish. Would you bother somebody that much bigger than you? No. I can't remember if we became friends or just acquaintances. But I had a really good time there. Which is actually funny. I'll get to that later. But because of that, because of me behaving and never getting in trouble and everything else, excuse me, I actually got a job there years down the road, working third shift staff. Because I show up for the interview, and it was still one of the head supervisors, and he recognized me. The second he did, he took that application, tossed it aside, and just started bullshitting about old times, and I had the job, just like that. Well, that was good. You know what I'm talking about? I might as well keep talking about it. But yeah, that was actually that was a good job. I was there. I worked there for 7 years, and I started out at. For Christ's sake, stop yelling. Yeah, I started there at $8 an hour. After 7 years, I was only making $8.32 an hour. Or 6 years. The company actually sold. It was the Scranton Diocese, or the diocese that owned it. Catholic Church. and they sold it to a Muslim company in New York who had no reputation around here. And they bumped everybody up to $12 an hour, which is nice. Pissed me off. They'd only bumped me. Out of every single person that worked there, they bumped me up to 10, everybody else up to 12. It took me like, somewhere 3, 4, 5 months to get it fixed and find out why, which I never found out why. I was talking to everybody I could, and finally one day I finally ran into the new owner, and I asked, well, she was with the pretty much the boss that ran the place, and I talking to her, but the owner was right there as well, and she butted in and said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Next paycheck, I'm bumped up to $12 an hour, but I got back pay, basically $2 an hour for every single hour I worked since they took over. So I checked my bank account. I think it was like it was close to $2,000 deposited, back pay. And I didn't even know it was coming, so that was like, holy shit, you know? That was nuts. But that was a good place to work, but the supervisors, personally, they were cool. Great guys. Davies, I bullshit him all the time. He was okay personally. Professionally, they fucking sucked. They fucking sucked. Basically, if you did your job, you did it well, you got put in the worst fucking dorms, where the kids misbehave or there's problems. There was a few people that slept all night, didn't care, they'd get caught, and they wouldn't give a shit. And they get the easy dorms where they can keep on doing it because they knew they were going to sleep regardless, and they didn't want to deal with either the kids or deal with doing their fucking job and making these people stay up all night and do their job. Which I actually called off a lot while working there, and that's why. I just simply didn't want to be there because of that shit. I mean, that's not how you're supposed to do things. I mean, if you just don't want to deal with the problems, you shouldn't be in management position. I mean, I used to dread going in there every night, wondering, where am I going to get put today? What kind of crap am I going to deal with? I hated that. But yeah, that was the last time I really got in trouble. Yeah, I didn't do anything else after that. That was it. Yeah, that was the last time I got in trouble. I didn't do shit after that other than maybe a speeding ticket, which I've only ever gotten one of those. But that's enough jumping ahead. I was thinking earlier, I was playing with my kids downstairs, just wrestling with them. I basically body slam and power slam them on the couch. Or I just toss them on it. They fucking love it. I got thinking about us as kids. Me and my brother and all the friends and everybody come over. Anytime we got new beds, the old ones would go in the cellar. We had concrete cellar and concrete walls. It wasn't dirt or anything. I mean, it was a finished cellar, just not carpeted or, I had those big, huge fluorescent lights on in the ceiling. The rear ones always never worked. But we used to always wrestle on the mattresses. I mean, we had everything set up down there. Me and my brother, we'd always be wrestling. And I remember one time, I don't know how the hell he didn't break my neck. The mattress is set up like this. And I guess they came apart slightly. My brother gave me, I thought it was a pile driver. But he actually gave me a brain buster. My head went in between the mattresses, right onto the cement floor. Oh my God, did that frickin' suck. Oof. Yeah, we do show the Charlie Brown round. They got the name because we had like figurines. Well, we had a setup where, what was it? We had a box spring first, and then we had whatever the footstool's called. We put your feet up in front of a chair. That's padded and everything. We had that at the end of the box spring, and then we had just a set. No, it was stacks of couch cushions, stacked all the way up, pretty high, like over. I don't know how much room between that and the ceiling we had. Excuse me. And then we have like a stack, like 4 mattresses on the other side of, like right on the other side of the stack of cushions. And we would have G.I. Joes, figurines, whatever, all shoved like right into the cushions. And we had a pillow on top. We'd have shit, whatever, underneath the cushions. And what was we started out with, it was like Charlie Brown figurines. That's why it was Charlie Brown round. Where that name came from, like who came up with it, I don't know, but it was just funny. Basically, we'd go running down the hallway from the next room, run onto the box spring, jump up, land on the footstool. I forget what the hell that's called now. And then bounce off of that. Dollar General over there, truck. Bounce off of it. Like here's the stack of cushions. Jump off, and then flip over like that over it. And as we're going, try to grab as many toys, figurines, whatever, action figures as you can as you're flipping over, and then land on the mattresses on the other side. So, you'd be flipping through the air, and you'd be grabbing shit from the side and on top, trying to grab the pillow, move the pillow up, and then grabbing whatever was underneath it, and grab the most, land on the other side. That was fun. So much fun. It was a good time. Charlie Brown round. Make sure that's still on. Now I gotta piss again. Yeah, we did everything in that cellar. I remember one time we had right in the back room where the lights always never came on. We had so many freaking bike parts. It was insane. I remember one day. We had so many parts back there. My dad, me and my friends all there watching him and, helping out as much as we could. Actually built me a bike right then and there from nothing, from just a bare frame. I don't even think it had the crank in it. Or whatever how that freaking middle thing's called with where your pedals are. And I haven't actually ridden a bike since freaking childhood. Or bicycle. Now I prefer motorcycles. I remember that really good. The whole freaking just bare frame, put it together, and I was riding it that day. I remember that was cool. I don't know what the hell happened to it though. I don't remember. We wrecked all our bikes. We'd be ghost riding the shit out of those. That's why. We'd bend the forks. There'd be babes that could take them, and we'd be riding. Not too fast, but then we just, jump off and push with the handlebars. Push the bike as hard as we can into a wall. And it just, boom, bounce off and boom, boom, boom. Go all over. Keep doing that, your forks will go from, being like this to being like that. So I wrecked a lot of the bikes. God, how the hell she has such a hard time with those kids? I think because all she does is yell at them. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, we used to have good times on bikes. We used to always go bike riding on the weekends, just take off and get as far as we can. We'd be freaking 20 miles from home and shit like that. I'm totally freaking lost. Bike riding. I remember me and my nephew, we had some money. We're over there riding over in Wilkes-Barre, a couple towns over across the river. We were trying to find. It's funny because now it's like I try to think how the hell we couldn't find it. It's so easy to navigate that area. We were trying to find Boscov's. Local department store. I don't know how big it is, like past the local area, I don't know. But it's just a department store. They got everything there. We tried to find the on-ramp to the parking garage. Where bicycles. I think I was like 14, he was like 12. He had this shit so bad, he had diarrhea. We're looking and looking and looking, and guess what? He never made it. He shit his pants, and he had shit all down his freaking legs, and he had diarrhea. That's fine. Me, I would have freaking probably stopped in an alleyway. But yeah, we had money. So we go into the bathroom. He gets out in his underwear, and I'm just like, holy shit. He's in the stall. He starts cleaning up. I'm like, alright. I went and I bought him a new pair of shorts or pants, or I think it was, no, they were shorts. While he was in the bathroom, I went over to the short department, bought him a change of clothes. Funniest part was, man, he made such a mess of that stall. The toilet was just covered and freaking walls and the floor. It was freaking nasty. That was funny. It sucks we gotta get old. Really sucks. Yeah, shit. I hope I said this on one of the videos. I remember we're so poor growing up in that freaking house. We'd be freaking making toast. If I said this on here or to my wife the other day, we'd make a freaking toast, buttered toast, and put freaking garlic salt on it. Because a few times that's all we had to eat. Yeah, my hair grew long again. I don't like it down, I just pull it back in a freaking ponytail. Yeah, last time I had my hair long. Yeah, bangs are down to my mouth now. Last time those shits, they came all the way down to my Adam's apple. My freaking back hair. I always get a high and tight, which is a military cut. I was never in the military, I just like the haircut. I'll usually get it cut short. Let the top grow out longer, and I'll just spike it. When I get sick of that, I'll just keep letting the top grow, and I'll just keep shaving underneath here. I'll just keep letting it grow until I get sick of it, and then I'll cut it again and start all over. Everybody on my postal route, when I got a shower, I went and actually just fully shaved my head. Where'd your hair go? You look good with the hair. Grow it back, grow it back. Every time me to grow it back. My wife said to, and I'm like, you know what, fine. I'll grow it back until I get sick of it again. Oh. Yeah, just thinking back all the time, playing up the back and shit like that. Yeah, that was good. See, this is why I love this. It's just shit I normally don't ever think about except once in a blue moon, or even less than that. Just coming into my head so much more now, so just perfectly clear. I remember we were Dave's house up the back. I lived next to the baseball field. He had a horseshoe pit. That's what we called the horseshoe pit. We just as a little bit back in his yard, behind his house. I mean, it was about like 30 yards long by like maybe 15 or 20 yards wide, and that's where they played horseshoes. That's what they call it, the horseshoe pits. Even though in freaking my day, they never really played horseshoes there. I don't think I ever seen them play horseshoes there once. But we'd always play baseball or whatever there. One time it was me, Dave, and Mike who were playing baseball. And shit, who? Okay, yeah, I was loud because I thought it was Mike. I was pitching, Mike was catching, Dave was hitting. And Dave hit the ball. He was running around the bases. Dave and Mike look like brothers. And they were both wearing the same color clothes. I think it was like a white t-shirt and blue shorts. Blue jean shorts. I don't know how, somehow I got them mixed up. Or maybe Mikey was pitching and I was back, and then Dave was, throwing the ball back if he didn't hit it. I forget how we were set up. But I got the ball. I got the baseball. And then I was throwing it, I thought, to Mikey to get him out. Somehow I mixed them up. I didn't fully look at where I was throwing. Like, I didn't stop and look. I just chucked it at what I thought was Mike. And it was actually Dave, and he was running away from me, so I basically chucked it right at his back. It came, and it struck him right here. Boom! It just bounced off his head. He went from running to just dropping dead. Just boom! He fell flat. Just whack! Just out. Like, knocked out, but he wasn't, he felt like he got knocked out. Man, he started freaking crying, man. That was funny as hell. Just the sight, just chucking the ball and just see it in, like, slow motion. Like that oh shit moment. Like, oh shit. It's just like, boom! You just seen it just bounce like as if it hit a rubber head. And he just dropped, just went from run, just... It's fucking hilarious. It's good times up there. It was always good times when they weren't acting like assholes. The football field, or the baseball field, we'd always be playing football there. We'd always play actual football though. No pads and tackling. That was good times. A lot of times we'd actually play with the freaking, I think they were, the older teenagers. I mean, back then they looked like adults. Full contact still. Except with them, they had enough people they could actually play properly. Just the quarterback standing there with the football while everybody runs out to either catch it or hand off. It was a line, people trying, just exactly like regular football. That was fun. We used to play soccer there too. That's actually where the locals would play. Local teams would play soccer. Local soccer teams. I remember one time, this fucking asshole Phil. We were playing freaking football, and in the field, I remember I went deep, and I jumped up to catch the ball, and I'm not sure, I don't think I caught it, but I remember my feet got tangled in the air, I landed wrong. So I didn't land on my feet. I literally landed and just went right down. Just fell right down on the ground. I remember them freaking just making fun of the shit out of me. Say, "Oh, how do you trip in midair?" Only I could do that, right? It's like I understood what happened because it happened to me, not them. They wouldn't freaking let it go. Kept busting my freaking ass and making fun of me about that too. That shit was normal for me. Like, that kind of shit happened every day. That's why I fucking hate them. If you don't come down, both feet come down properly, you're gonna go down. That's exactly what happened. I jumped up, and I just didn't land right. I knew it then, but they just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. I remember I got in a fight with him once. Actual fight. I would have beat his freaking ass, Phil. I would have beat his ass. I remember our first fight, and I got him down where he was like this, and from like his back was his head was facing me, his head was down, his back was facing me, and I don't know what the hell happened. I just couldn't breathe. I just couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't breathe. I guess I just got so worked up. I actually had to let him go. I actually ran down because it was actually in the horseshoe pits. I actually had to run away from him because I literally couldn't freaking breathe. And then we started fighting again. I think he got me in a headlock and like this, and he actually punched me square in the freaking nose. Really good, and that was it. That was it. You hit me in the freaking nose like that, and I was like, nope, that's over. It's over. He used to do that shit all the time. He lived down the street from Mikey, and we'd always be down there playing hide and seek, him and his brother and shit like that. And we'd always hang out down that way and shit like that. And they'd always physically freaking pick on me. It became a habit. I remember one time, he was being a freaking bully, and he actually punched me in the head. I think he pushed me down, he punched me in the head or something like that. When he did that, it started snowing. I think that happened twice actually. So they made a joke about that, and they kept fucking doing it a few times after that too. Hey, punch Joe in the head, and it'll snow. Actually, speaking of down there, I remember I was racing. Was it Mikey or just Mikey and Johnny? I forget who. I was racing down the hill, and I was running full freaking speed. I turned around like this, and I said, haha, I'm beating you. And I turned just about that, and I ran into a one-way street signs pole. It's the pole where it's not round. I mean, it's the edges are just like, you know, what, 2 centimeters thick. It's a bar, and then it just like goes like that. It's basically U-shaped with things on the side of it like that, but it was facing me. I don't know how to explain it. I ran right in the side, like here's a sign, kind of like that. I freaking ran full speed. It hit me right here. I actually got a scar right near my piercing right here. Oh my god, all you heard, I'm beating you. Bong. That's all you heard. That's all I heard in my head was that fucking bong. Oh man, that freaking hurt. Freaking blood just gushing down my face, dripping all over the freaking ground. I go home. You're gonna need stitches. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not getting no damn stitches. I put a band-aid on it and it was fine. Just left me with a scar. The other scar I got on my head, I got one right right in my nose, right here. I remember my old room, the house I grew up in. My brother had a street sign, and it was an older house, wooden door, or no, it was a wooden window frame, and above it was like, you know, that much room, just literally like 3 inches shorter than the street sign. So I put it up there, and I actually jammed it diagonally like that into the corner, like the corner like that, and I actually put the sign, like, this is the top of the window, I actually jammed it in like that, and then I think I opened the window, and I think the sign came down like that, or just fell down like that, but it actually came down, and freaking just boom, it hit me right in the freaking nose. It cut me just straight across my nose. I got a scar in there from that. But as much crazy shit as it did as a kid, I never broke a bone. Still never broke a bone that I know of. Yeah, we did normal shit as kids. We go out shoveling and snow. Blizzard of '93 was the best. Mikey Street. We actually, somehow we got a car tire, a tube for a car tube, inner tube for a car, and we blew that thing up as big as we can, and they didn't plow at all. I think everything was still, I'm not sure, I think everything was still shut down. But I mean, they plowed enough in the beginning where there was piles on each side of the street, but the street was still covered. We went down that so much in our sleds and that inner tube, it was literally practically a half pipe. The sides just went up, they were nice and smooth, and we get like 4 of us or 4 or 5 of us jumping on that freaking inner tube and just fucking hauling ass down that hill. That was fun. It was a big hill too. Just trying to think of what else. Yeah, always up. Oh, we were always up the back. We're always having a good time playing up there with everybody. Until some junkies started hanging around. I forget when they started hanging around there. One of them hooked up with one of the girls that lived there. I'm not going to use specific names, it's freaking douchebags. I will talk shit on them though. For good reason. That's really where the good times up there stopped. When they started coming around there all the time and eventually living there. One douchebag specifically. Yeah, he pretty much, yeah, he moved in there, I forget when. That's when all the the good childhood fun stopped. You know? Because they were always into freaking drugs and drinking and everything, and that's all it was up there anymore. Drinking and drugs. I mean, it started out normal, just drinking and smoking weed, but then it slowly got worse. Acid and shit like that. Tell you one thing, he did not like me at all because I had a crush on his freaking girlfriend. Actually, I think that's why he didn't like me. I don't know. I never fucking... I mean, I was around, hanging around, but I never bothered with him. He's just a piece of shit. I remember we'd be sitting on the front porch, even with the mother there, and I wouldn't say a word to him. I'd just be sitting on the steps or something like that. You do this all the time. You just start fucking calling me names, call me fucking scumbag and shit like that. You know, I think a few times he's like, "Oh, why do you come around here?" and shit like that. Like, I was going around, I was hanging out with them since I was like 4 years old. He came around, what, fucking over 10 years later, or like 10 years later, or 10 years later, or some shit like that. He was always fucking being an asshole to me. But why do I talk shit on him? Because him coming around, them, you know, just drinking, smoking weed, doing acid, yes, they kept jumping up, going up the ladder, the junkie ladder. Now, I'm only talking about them. I don't give a shit what anybody else does. It doesn't affect me. I don't fucking care. The reason I'm going to use whatever words I want talking about them, because I am just, you know, I am talking shit on them for doing it, because they corrupted other people. Friends of mine, people I knew, people I grew up with, shit like that. And corrupted the one sister that lived there. Actually, I ended up corrupting a lot of them. But they would, you know, they start out with small shit. Before you know it, I remember one time, just out of nowhere, I didn't know how it started. I don't know if that freaking vape is getting in the way or viewable on cameras. But I remember I think it was me, James, and her were hanging out in her room. And what she said it was, snorting coke. I think she's only 3 years older than me, and I was like 13, 14 at the time. I think I was 14. Hard to remember because it was in the summertime. I'll be thinking back, I'd know better if it was like, you know, a school year, what grade I was in. But summertime, it all just mashes together. But it's like, snorting freaking coke and then crushing up pills and snorting those. Excuse me. And then same thing with another friend, a douchebag friend. He'd act the same way to me as everybody else. I was the outcast. I was the freaking piece of shit of the group. But he was normal. Him and his sister were normal. growing up. I forget when they moved into town or when we started hanging out with them. But long before those douchebag freaking junkies showed up. And basically corrupted them too. Then they started hanging out with them. They started doing drugs. And they started getting into worse shit. That's why I don't like that's what I don't like about junkies. I mean, you do drugs, you do shit to yourself, and you don't do it, get anybody else in with it. Hey, that's your life. You do what you want. If you pull other people, innocent people, into your little chunky world, no, that ain't cool. Not at all. Especially when you grow up with people and you see it happen. But yeah, at least those three people, freaking I'm not sure if they didn't even drink until they started coming around. Then they started drinking, smoking weed, doing acid, mushrooms, you name it, and then slowly into cocaine, and then the end game. Long after I stopped ever hanging out with them and everything else, I was in St. Mike's, stuff like that. When they moved away from that house, they get into heroin. Then I hear about freaking overdose. Actually, no, they were freaking overdose. They were doing that hard shit long before they. I don't know if the people I grew up with were doing it, but I know the junkies were doing the hard shit. I was 14 or 15. Because I remember hearing about their one friend overdosing and shit and bleeding out his eyes or something like that, I heard. It's really, they weren't even, I don't even think they were 18 yet. But, yeah, those three people ended up getting into the hardest drugs you can. All because of them. Because they came around with their freaking crap. They got them into it. And that was that. Yeah, he's long gone from this area, the douchebag. Frickin', she cleaned her act up. His family now and everything's good. But the brother and sister I grew up with as well, last time I heard of them, they actually tried to rob the house of a judge. A freaking judge. Out of all the people, all the houses, a judge's house. Why? Heroin. Support their heroin addiction. This was somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago. So, freaking, it's like they were still doing it back then. And all that because of one freaking douchebag coming around and bringing his junkie buddies around and getting them into it. If they never came around, they never freaking spread their freaking crap, they would have just kept it to themselves. Who knows what would happen to those guys? I mean, they would never got into drugs and shit like that. It's Wyatt. So I'm not fond of those kind of people. You know, you want to do something to yourself, go ahead. It's your life. Don't ever get people to join you and freaking mess them up. Mikey actually got me smoking. I remember that. He's the one that got me smoking. Remember his mom smoked Marlboro Reds or Marlboro Lights. I remember he was stealing some out of her car, the ashtray in her car, or stealing a few of her cigarettes. But that's when I started. I was around like 12 years old. Then of course everybody else had to start smoking too. I've pretty much been smoking ever since. Yeah, there was a time period where I think that Junkie and her, they broke up, and there was actually good times then. Actually, she was pregnant with his kid. He was never around. Go figure. And those were actually good times, because I remember everybody used to hang out at their house then. Everybody used to have a good time. And I remember we were hanging out, and one of our friends, he asked to use another guy's car. He had a freaking little Saturn, and we took it for a drive. It was 4 of us. I'm trying to think where I was sitting. I don't know if I was in the back seat or front. I think I was in the back seat. But we went up this one huge, steep-ass hill. And, I mean, it's one of the steepest in town. And it goes up, and there's a crossroad at the top, well, 3/4 of the way at the top of it. It goes up, and it flattens out, and it goes up again. And we're at the bottom of the hill, stop sign. He guns it all the way up. Just kept it to the floor. Forgot about that street. We get to it. 4 of us in the car too. We were going so fast. We cleared the whole street. Just freaking jumped. And here's where the other hill starts. It basically goes like that. We jumped, and the front of the car came down like that and hit the frickin' street, and then we evened out. As soon as that car hit, man, the car just shut the fuck off. That was fun. I mean, we're just flying up this hill, and then all of a sudden, shit, we're frickin' airborne. Totally airborne. Never told him, though. What the hell was the car owner's name? Jay? I forget what I think his name was Jay. Yeah, gold, like a dull gold Saturn, little 4-door. I mean, it was like the size of a Cavalier. Never told him. Car was fine after that. I remember my mom, she actually got a camcorder that summer. Everybody being a ham in front of the camera, because I was taking it out and taking it back there. course, everybody always freaking edging me on to do it. Go streaking for the camera up and down the alleyway. That's where I live. It was like an alleyway that went back and around, like I said before. Everybody tell me, yeah, go run up and down the street honking. So I snuck around the back of the house, freaking. I got naked and I grabbed my junk. I'm running up and down the street going honk. That was funny. Nobody else had the balls to do that though. That's really all I had on was a pair of shoes. Yeah, the videos will get better as I get closer to current times. Because, I mean, remembering that much of my childhood in detail and keeping everything in like a timeline just going forward, it'd be almost impossible. So I'm just trying to say what I can, or say what I can think of. Like I said, I'm just doing this on the fly. Oh. I'm just thinking about everything I've said already. Yeah, fishing. You always go down the river fishing. Those were fucking really good times. Really. Those are probably the best times I've ever had. Growing up with them guys. Because those were usually the only time where they actually didn't act like douchebags. It was good fishing down the river too. You don't eat the fish at the Susquehanna River. You don't. Especially not around here with all the mines and the pollution and nasty shit in there. Nowadays, I mean, for past freaking 15 years at least, it sucks. Absolutely sucks. But growing up, it was great. I mean, the bass were everywhere. The smallmouth and the freaking rock bass. Catch catfish all the time. I mean, it was the bluegill. I mean, you go down there. There wasn't a single time where you didn't catch anything. I mean, there was never a single time where you didn't catch anything, unless you went down there when the river was like really high, you know, shit like that. But if the river was a normal level, calm, and everything was good, you always caught something. Excuse me. No matter where you went, too, you always caught something. I remember it was a freaking rock bass sitting right next to the land. He wouldn't eat anything. Put the freaking dangle a worm in front of his face, wouldn't eat it. I remember put a freaking piece of marshmallow on a hook. I dabbed that on the top of the water. He came up and got it. And yeah, they never picked on me, verbally or physically, when we went fishing, because I always did it to myself. The joke was, pretty much every time we went fishing, I'd fall in. 75% of the time that was true. I'd either slip on a rock and fall in the water, or, you know, slip down a hill, fall in. I was always falling in. Yeah, we had a lot of family moments down there too. I remember, like, me, my dad, my friends, my brother, my nephew, we'd go down there fishing together. Last time we did that was night fishing at Francis Slocum. a big lake. We'd go night fishing. Last time I was fishing with my dad was then. He didn't fish. I mean, I think it was me, Mike, and my brother. I remember one time we were down there behind my grams before we lived with her. And there was this metal sewer pipe, whatever, giant metal pipe that went into the water, and on top of it was all muddy. And I think it was right after my brother said not to step on it and watch it. It's muddy, it's slippery. I step on it. I went right into the water. I literally slipped and I went freaking like 5 yards out. I don't know how. I just happened so quick. And I remember I don't remember touching the bottom. I just remember flailing so hard with my freaking arms, my legs. I don't remember ever going underwater, and pretty sure I didn't. But fell in, got out, went to my grams, got to change of clothes and shit. That was funny. Yeah. I don't remember touching the bottom. I know I didn't go underwater. That was the only time where I actually fell in, like really fell in. Other than, like almost up to my waist. You slip and fall, like, your bottom of your legs fall in or something like that. That was the only time where I fully fell in. Like as if I jumped in. Freaking, because growing up around here, you fear the Susquehanna. Or at least everybody I was ever around. Because, I mean, the mine shafts, the currents, the undercurrents,